Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Param Om. Namaste. We are coming to the very conclusion of the Mandukya Karika, chapter 4. In the previous verse, we have seen that consciousness is the Atma, the eternal non-dual Atma. Therefore, the true nature of the jivas is beginningless, unborn jivas. And we must accept that, but we will be able to accept that only to the degree that we understand and we get that doubtless, clear understanding that is not subject to any doubt, vagueness, suspiciousness, and anything. It's so clear. And then you know that your true nature is unborn. As we know, we have two elements to our human experience. One is conscious existence, the other is the instrument body, mind, which allows us to have these human experiences, no? So we need to understand our true nature without canceling our apparent nature, because we don't have the power to do so. But they just live okay. So the mirage exists within the sand, the desert sand, without any conflicts. Same is the reflection in the mirror and the projection on the screen in the cinema. So we are talking about two orders, two natures. One is an appearance, the other is the ultimate reality. We need to know that what we are fundamentally is the relationless consciousness, beginningless consciousness, akarta, abhokta consciousness, nirvikaraha consciousness. So consciousness does not contact anything. Maya makes it appear as some namarupas contact consciousness. But from the standpoint of consciousness, it is said that consciousness is relationless. So this talks about us in the sense that there is something within our human personality or experience, that is relationless, is asanga. Okay, it's just a witnessing principle that does not get hooked with whatsoever is happening. It's just like, boom, that's the ultimate self-realization brings the person to become more like a witnessing consciousness, that is not really related, it's just witnessing, without getting hooked with relationships. So this was the previous pointer to our true nature. We have to remember that all of these serve to point to our true nature. Swamiji, this final 6 or 4 or 5 verse, they are very beautiful, very important, profound verse, it says. And says that Gaudapada is summarizing the entire teaching given in the Mandukya Upanishad. Now he's going to go back to the Mandukya and remind us that we are covering the Mandukya because we went far out with the Karikas, no? And especially the 7th mantra among the 12 mantras, that is the most important. He makes an important point. He makes an important point that Advaita is a teaching that's based on the scriptural revelations. So the first thing is Advaita is something that cannot be proved by sensory perception, inference, and intellectual. Intellectual is something else, but it's beyond sense perception and inference. And Advaita is only possible to be attained, understood, through a different kind of pramana, which is scriptural revelations. And for that, you need to somehow develop a trust in this means of self-knowledge. But this is blind faith, because if there is no way I can verify it through my mind, my sense organs, and I cannot use inference based on sense perceptions. So, and then it's blind faith. No, it's not. It's not, because at the very end of this process, it can be verified that what the scripture revelations are saying are the only, it's so simple and so true. But only at the very end. Why? It's talk about something that you are never going to find outside of your intrinsic nature. So until you see all these revelations, these declarations of identity, you are limitless, you are the infinite. So unless you realize that as your intrinsic nature, it's going to be available as academic knowledge, informative knowledge. Only in the very end, you're going to get the full Shraddha, trust in the scripture, but you begin developing Shraddha before, because after having tried any possible way to resolve this samsara problem, this human sad condition, one comes to the scriptures, and there is a certain resonance with the teachings that moves us, and we start feeling like there is something there for me. Maybe the scriptures, the revealed scriptures, are presenting the only way out for this condition. There's something subconsciously resonates. Isn't it, Mark? Say hi.
Yeah, well, definitely. And when you look at the world and experience the world doesn't provide all the answers. It just provides more questions. And so we have to go beyond our worldly experience.
Absolutely, because we don't have the intellect of Ishwara, the mind of Ishwara, to know everything. We get so lost trying to understand what's going on the scientific level and many other levels. Only Ishwara, and you even relax about trying to know everything, because Ishwara knows that for us. Ishwara takes care of everything for us. Okay, now I have you on my screen. Because otherwise I keep talking to a dark black screen here. It's my trick. My trick is to ask one of you to say something. So this is the pramana, shastric revelations in the scriptures. Is the pramana, is the means by which you're going to understand your Advaita nature, non-dual nature, your reality as the only reality, one without a second nature. So we're going to negate Dvaita. Dvaita is something so deeply rooted. We have such a hardwired conviction that Dvaita is reality, because we experience Dvaita all the time. This subject-object division is there all the time. And therefore, most philosophies, they take this division, experiencer and experienced, I and the world, to be both satya, both is reality, and they go and they start just elaborating. So what came first, the objects, and then consciousness appears, or they appear simultaneously, or consciousness comes and then the object comes, but they are both real because both are being experienced. Consciousness is eternal, limitless, but the objects are satya as well in a different way. So there are all kinds of variations of philosophies, but these Dvaitins, they affirm that the nature reality is duality, is Dvaita. Of course, Vedanta does not negate Dvaita, Anubhava. Vedanta does not negate the fact that we experience Dvaita, Anubhava experience. It's available as an experience. It's available as an appearance, exactly such as the dream world. And we experience it. The blue sky is available for experience. The mirage, the oasis is available for experience. And Vedanta does not negate that. The Vedanta does not have any problem trying to cancel or negate or change this appearance, this appearance. Vedanta has no problem with Maya superimpose Namarupas upon the only reality, which is consciousness turiya. No, it's okay. So we cannot cancel that. And if we cancel that, there is no meaning anymore for any scripture, because if we cancel the superimposition of Maya, we cancel all the jivas. And then if there are no jivas, these scriptures are useless. So we accept the superimposition of Namarupas, knowing perfectly well that jivas are integral part of this superimposition, but there is something which is the true nature of the jiva, and everything in Mithya, the true nature of everything in Mithya is Satya, is Turiya, Satchitananda Brahman. So Vedanta sees the Dvaita, the superimposition, as a wonderful play and opportunity, because it is within the unreal and the real order, and this apparent order, anatma order, there is reality in there, and the reality in there is the substratum of Ishvara, Jiva, and Jagata. Everything needs to be resolved in consciousness, as we understand these teachings more and more clearly. And Vedanta does not want to create a new Dvaita experience. Okay, but let's make Vedanta accepts Dvaita, but only mystical celestial Dvaita. You understand? So no, Vedanta say no, all Dvaitas are the same. So they belong to Ishvara, Maya Ishvara. Vedanta wants just to say that nothing escapes Turiya consciousness. Any and all dualities occur within consciousness. It's within our consciousness that we see our body-mind, the instrument of duality, of experience duality, experience other objects. Vedanta does not care for the field of experience at all. This is something so radical, this statement that people say, oh, and then I'm not interested in Vedanta. It does not work in the field of experience. Vedanta works in the field of knowledge, understanding what's going on. Vedanta suggests that we should let all experience continue as they are. Don't try to control your experience. If you understand these teachings, you're going to experience this Dvaita, apparent reality, in a different manner. You're going to experience it more like a witnessing consciousness, and less as a player in this projection. You understand? So the projection does not need to be stopped, and furthermore, cannot be stopped. Nobody can stop this power of Maya. And furthermore, our sense organs and our sense instrument, they were designed to report Dvaita only. Everything that develops now, when we look into the theory of creation, Vedanta presents the theory of evolution, the elements, the gunas, and then the subtle elements, and then there are some formations, and then there's the most primordial formations comes, and then immediately appears a small jiva, develops some way to capture those formations, through the shapes, the colors, the tastes, the smell. So when we look into that, we see that experience continues as they are. They cannot be stopped because the sense organs, they merge together with the objects, and they are designed to experience. The Jiva Atma is the instrument designed to report duality, to experience duality. The Jivatma was designed to report duality and to respond to what comes from this environment to us. Oh no, I'm a karta. I don't do anything. No, I don't do any action. I'm actionless. I'm not gonna do anything. Come on, don't make this confusion. This instrument of experience is not only designed to report and experience duality, but it's designed to respond as well. Oh, but Ramana decided not to respond anymore. It's good. Like Ramana once said, if the power that took me from my family and brought me to a cave to stay there for so many years, if that power is the same power that's compelling you to leave your family or business to come and look and rent one of my caves here, follow that movement because it's a genuine one. No? But it's very rare. The Jivatma was designed to report duality and to respond, to act. Vedanta challenged on the conclusion, the mistaken conclusion that Jivaitan is real, is Satyam, based on our experience. As we know, we have so many experience that proves it. Vedanta makes us inquire into that mistaken conclusion until we understand that it was misleading conclusion, with the help of what? Scripture revelations. Otherwise, we would never, you never know. Some people may figure it out without the scriptures, but we never know. Maybe those individual souls have been in contact with the scripture in some previous births. We don't know. But Vedanta presents the scriptures, the Vedas present the scriptures of Vedanta, the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, the Puranas, presents it, otherwise without which we would be like a dark, blind man in a dark room looking for the black cat, which is just enjoying himself outside. So with the help of Brahman, we can do this inquiry. It's only through the scriptures we can develop that vision, that understanding. When the inquiry is done, we learn. When the inquiry is done consistently, systematically, with the help of a guru, and then we learn that Dvaita, the experience of Dvaita is present, but it's not real. The only reality is Advaitam, is the light of consciousness in which the apparent duality, experiencer and objects of experience emerge. The stars that are experienced as small are known to be huge based on scientific knowledge. Perception is very deceiving. Even after the knowledge, we experience the small star very far away, almost insignificant. Another example is the sun experience. We experience moving across the sky. Between experience and between Anubhava Siddham and Pramana Siddham, one should hold on to Pramana Siddham. So experience, we cannot rely on experience as we know. There are several examples. We have something which is higher, superior than experience, which is the human intellect. The human intellect has the ability to discern whether that experience is a reflection of some truth, how much potential for truth that sensory perception has, that sensory mental conclusion. So the intellect, with its faculty of discrimination, may be able even to figure it out without the scripture. Who knows if the intellect is very, very refined. So one should stay with the Pramana Siddham, even as the Anubhava Siddham continues. So the appearance of duality will be there, but one holds on to one's intellectual final conclusion that this is just an apparent duality. What's the base for our own wrong, mistaken conclusion? the proponents of Satya Jivaitam reason as follows. Now he says, so all the proponents of these philosophies that say that Jivaitam is reality, the objects are real, and the seer, the knower, which is consciousness, is also real, both are real. And they say that, first of all, every experience proves Jivaitam. Yes, it's true. Every experience proves Jivaitam. Experience means duality. Oh, no, I'm experiencing non-duality. It's impossible. Experience means an experiencer and an object. An object can be as subtle as, love or wonderful, blissful state. So he says that every experience proves Dvaitam. In every experience, there are two things, the seer and the seen, the experiencer and the experienced. One is I, the experience consciousness principle. The other is the object of experience. In every experience, consciousness is in contact with an object of experience. One or any other object of experience is the same thing, it's duality. I, consciousness, this school admits that there is consciousness, and consciousness is something other than the mind. But it says, I am consciousness, and I'm in contact with an object. Every experience includes consciousness plus an object. Should not divide and be accepted? So it sounds like reasonable, huh? Gaudapada admits that there is an experience of Dvaitam in interaction with the subtle and the physical world. But the answers that the world does not originate, but he answers that the world does not have origination or existence, but it's only an appearance. So now he's questioning the world as we experience it. It's so easy for us to question the Satya nature of the dream world. So he says that the world does not have origination or existence. It's just a flash. It's just a projection or a reflection or an appearance. Consciousness contacts only the appearing world, but the world does not have an existence of its own. The world is just a superimposition upon consciousness or a reflection within consciousness. So duality is there, the experience subject-object is there. In fact, the final discrimination, maybe these philosophies do not even get much there into discriminating the limitless, free and independent consciousness from the intellect that they may superimpose upon consciousness. They say, no, there is I consciousness, which most cases they mix up with the mind, and the object. So Vedanta says, okay, there is duality there, but duality is apparent. It's just a seeming duality. Okay, there is only consciousness, and there is a world of Dhammarupas appearing within consciousness, exactly like the awaker contacting the dream objects in the dream state. But it's so easily known to be not real, mithya, which means to say it does not has existence on its own. Why? Because it happens within my mind, the mind of the waker, and not apart from the mind of the awaker. So the dream world, we have no problem to define it as not satya, anatima, or mithya. But the physical world is our trouble. How we accept this vyavaharika to be exactly like the dream world. Advaita is only an appearance, and it's not Satyam. Advaita is Satyam, and Advaita is as good as non-existent because it's not really there. Okay, exactly like the namarupas, the ornaments of gold superimposed upon the gold. they enjoy a landed, okay, or borrowed existence from that which is the true existence of all ornaments of gold, which is gold. So we have consciousness, and everything is happening in consciousness. Consciousness being the only reality, exactly like the screen in the cinema hall is the only reality. All the rest is a projection. No? So there is no real movie, there is no real drama in the cinema hall. It's all a projection. We see the screen, which is the substance. Consciousness is the screen. Sometimes we say the mirror-like consciousness or the screen of consciousness. Sometimes we hear that expression because Maya projects all these namarupas, and then we have a sense of reality when these namarupas are very tangible. When they are tangible, material, physical, we say no. This cannot be a projection such as the one which occurs in my mind during the dream state. So Advaita is such a Dvaita, the objects which bring about Dvaita are not really there. The corollary is that if there is no second thing other than me, I cannot have any relationship with a second thing as well. In Advaita, there is no Sangatva. If there is nothing, what is the relationship between the screen in the cinema hall and the actors and the projectors, the object projected upon the screen? Imagine if the screen would develop a sympathy from a certain player there, and then the script says that that player must be assassinated, and the screen is going to be so upset that he's going to rebel, he's going to do something nasty to stop that from happening. So likewise, you're going to see your body mind getting old, decline, losing energy and strength, and then you're going to see it just being left behind by your soul, because it's not good enough to hold your body, mind, soul, your soul, your subtle body. So you just let it be, let it go. You know that I am a sangha. I have no attachment for anything. Neither I have attachment to this instrument of experience. Why? Because this instrument of experience allows me to experience duality. But now that I understood that there's not much there in duality, except an opportunity to develop wisdom and get this final knowledge, now that I got this final knowledge, so I have no problem to let go of this instrument that allows me to experience Dvaita, duality. You see why this knowledge supposedly should provide us with certain indifference in respect to the mortality of the instrument of experience, the body, physical body. So I am Advaita. I'm not associated, not even with this body. The eternal consciousness is the true nature of every Jivatma. This true nature does not contact any object, just as the clay never contacts any pot or cup or anything. The space does not contact anything it accommodates. The clay does not contact any one of those objects of clay. There is no pot other than the clay, so the clay is at ease with those superimpositions of Namarupa, because it says, I am the only reality here. I'm one without a second, and I have no relationship with these Namarupas, which fundamentally are myself as clay. So 2 words are used, and the utility of the pot is recognized, but there is not even a cause and effect relationship between the clay and the pot. This is so big. He is doing a good recap of this teaching. There is no relationship between cause and effect, karya and karana, between clay and the pot. Why? We would say that the cause is the most fundamental nature of something that becomes an effect. But is there a relationship between karana and karya? Yes, karana enjoys an apparent reality or a borrowed reality, and it somehow it has a relationship with karya, because without karya, karana does not exist. You remove the clay from the objects, and the object, boom, clay is gone, I am gone. That's the situation of every human being. I have a relationship with this body. If the body is gone, my existence is gone. Why? Because the cup got so attached to its namarupa apparent status that somehow is afraid, of letting go of that namarupa. There is no relationship between cause and effect when you look from the standpoint of clay. When you look from the standpoint of consciousness does not have any relationship with anything of mithya, but mithya has a certain relationship, apparent relationship with consciousness, which is the karya, the cause, in a way that my existence is dependent on karya, on the cause, which is Satchitananda Brahman. Similarly, Atma, consciousness, and Anatma, the physical material, matter and energy, must be seen as a clay and the pot. Atma is like clay, and the world of Namarupas, physical Namarupas, like objects of clay, objects made from consciousness through the power of Maya, as a projection or as an evolution of the gunas and the elements, howsoever we want to construct our vision. The ETU of the anatma is recognized, but there is no relationship between atma and anatma. Anatma is available for experience, for transactional purpose, and I can find utility on certain namarupas, and so there is no relationship, but it's still available there, because where is the relationship in which we find experience, transaction, utility? The experience is for the instrument of experience. The ETU goes for what? For the jiva. The jiva is living for as long as it is anchored, attached or based upon a physical body, is having experience, transaction, and is working to find utility, discriminating what is good and what is bad, and so on. So there is no relationship between consciousness in the world of ETU. From the jiva, the instrument, there is a certain relationship, but the body-mind is not the true atma. The body-mind is one level of an atma transacting with another level of an atma. But fundamentally, consciousness is a sangha. And as we know, the jiva is a mixture of both, of a sangha consciousness and sangha matter energy, which is all the time transacting, interacting in association with the world, because it was designed for that purpose. There is no anatma apart from atma, even as the anatma is fully utilized for transaction. So there is no anatma separate from atma. So this is resolving everything which is anatma. In atma is the purpose of the entire process of self-inquiry and self-knowledge. Suggests, proposed, revealed by the scriptures. There is no anatma apart from atma. even as the anathema is fully utilized by transaction. Yeah. So how are you going to transact in the world knowing that it's just an apparent projection within you, which is available for transaction, utility, and experience? So how are you going to deal with that apparent contradiction if there is no anathema apart from atma, you know? And if the scripture says that even though, keep in mind, the anathema, it will remain there and it must be utilized for transaction. You are designed for that. So you have two natures. One is atma, one is the anathema nature, which is the matter and energy of the body mind. So this body mind must transact in the anathema and take the anathema serious to a certain extent, meaning to say, so here I have to conform to the laws and principles of this apparent anathema order and transact. And what is the purpose of, my body mind transacting in a realm which is not real, okay? But yet from within there are certain utilities. There is something to learn, something to gain, such as purification, refinement, and so. So what is the purpose? So the only thing we can come up with as a suggestion, the purpose of this anathema projection is to allow the person not to negate anathema and try to destroy the mind or anything like, but no, stay in the world, the anathema world, because you need to transact in this, because it's through the friction of transaction with this anathema reality that your anathema body mind sense complex is going to be refined if it transacts from the standpoint of the scriptural knowledge revealed to us by the Gita. So there is no contradiction. We experience the world and we use the world, but we never accept the world as separate from I consciousness. The whole world is just something happening within the scope of myself as consciousness. It's within me, but yet I'm not going to neglect my body mind, which is the most primordial, appearance within consciousness to myself, no? Because I am the body mind. The finest instrument the body mind has is the intellect. The intellect was refined, and it is in the intellect that we're going to understand this process of objectification. This intellect is going to see the more denser aspect of the body mind complex and the world experience through the body mind complex. And then this consciousness, this fine, refined, and purified intellect is the one who is going to be transacting, knowing that everything is happening within my true nature as consciousness. And yet I am the master of this body-mind complex. And I'm going to govern this body-mind complex so that it's transacting in this anathema world, a real world, to get the knowledge of that which is the only reality, by understanding that everything is happening within something which is my most subtle and profound and real nature, which is consciousness, which is there supporting the intellect, the mind, the emotion, everything in the world. So transaction appears to be the only way the intellect refines so that it can trace reality back to the consciousness, which is quote unquote behind everything. We experience the world and we use the world, but we never accept the world to be happening outside of ourselves as consciousness, since consciousness does not come in contact with anything. Consciousness, Atma, the Turiya, is a Sangha. The importance of understanding is this Asanga nature. Everything that you claim as your nature or some features of your nature, you begin experiencing. If you understand that your true nature is that which does not have any contact or association or interaction, but is the witnessing consciousness, if you claim that, and then automatically you start experience this asanga nature within your human day-to-day experience of life. This is, in other words, is what all saints call vairagya or equanimity, a sense of witnessing everything without being hooked up. Yeah? Vishwa, Taijasa, and Pranya have Sangha. You see what I was saying before. The Vishwa, the body, mind, sense complex in the state of the waker, the Taijasa, the mind complex experience through the subtle body, and Pranya, the deep sleeper, one through the causal body experience absence of tangible duality. All of these three entities have association because they are anathema. Anathema must be associated with an anathema world. But Turiya, your true nature, consciousness, Satchitananda Brahman, does not have any association. This is the only freedom, is to understand our true nature. You understand? As Turiya is that which is totally free and independent, never changes, never does anything. It's just witness. And the more we understand that, the sharper becomes this intellect, because it's the intellect who gets that understanding. You understand, Mark?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's amazing. Huh?
It's amazing.
Truly brilliant.
Verse 97, even if an atom different from Brahman is accepted to be born. Okay, no, the world is not there, but there is conscience, there is Brahman there, but there is something. I see a small little thing, a small inclusion there. What is that? It's a particle, which is, it's it's a small fraction of an atom. Okay? So even if there is a small little thing other than consciousness, other than Brahman, and then we say Brahman is subject to a second thing, subject to modification, and Brahman has an association with this subatomic particle, let's say. And then there is a relationship, right? If there is any inclusion, that's why we say that we are one without a second, non-dual. Because if appears anything, if it's just a small vibration within consciousness, that is going to create what? Duality. Consciousness and a small vibration within consciousness, you understand? And then Brahman is going to have a relationship. There are two, if there are two principles, there is interaction. If there is interaction, there is change, modification. Brahman is nirvikaraha, never changes, never modifies, does not have a relationship with anything because it's the most pure thing. No inclusions are there. If there is any inclusion, there is a process of change, of association, interaction, and change. So if we accept any inclusion on Brahman, and then the status of Asanga to Brahman will cease to be a valid statement. And that can happen for some people who are indiscriminate by nature, people with intellects which are not very bright. And then Gaudapada says, so what about talking of removal of ignorance by presenting the teachings of Advaita Vedanta? So there is no point to talk to these people who are caught up in Advaita. They are indiscriminate people. They believe that there is something other, the consciousness, and they even go to the extreme that say that the entire cosmos, universe, they are just there and they are also real. Huh? And Gadapada went to the stream and said, even if it is small little vibration, that is already destroying the Asanga and unchanging nature of Brahman, which is the only thing, the only aspect of what we are that gives peace, knowing that there is only you and there is no room for any change in you. Otherwise, we are always insecure. So, am I going to change? Okay. Oh, when I become old, am I going to change very bad? Oh, I used to be so beautiful when I was 20. My brother gave me a picture of myself when I was 20. I almost couldn't recognize myself. My body, I mean that. Everything changes in the anatima. If you take Dvaita to be reality, there is no point to talk about knowledge which is going to bring the end of self-ignorance. If this fact is not properly understood and assimilated clearly, what will be the consequence? What's the consequence of missing the fact that I am one without a second? I am Advaitam. I am the only reality. Therefore, I am limitless. I am the only source of peace and security. What is the consequence if I don't understand this Advaita nature of mine? I will take that there is something other than myself, a second thing, and I'm going to attribute reality to the objects that appears within consciousness. There is no second thing. That's the truth, as real as me, and that I do not have any relationship with anything. So if I don't understand that, and then we're going to be caught up on Advaita Mitya, samsara, that most people in the spiritual world are caught up. They believe that they are very highly spiritual, but they are caught up in duality, Again and again, I see that. They believe that a certain reality, the celestial or mystical realms or this and that could somehow bring about this eternal peace and limitless, Ananda, no? And then Swami says the screen does not have any relationship. I already touched that subject. So the consequence of not understanding what is being said here by Gaudapada is instant samsara, instantaneous samsara. Oh, there are all kinds of samsaras, not only this Vyavaharika, as we know. Sacred samsara, spiritual samsara, mystical samsara, celestial samsara. It's all samsara. It's like believe that there is a certain realm of duality in which you can live ever free and full, satisfied and complete. No, there isn't such a thing, according to our scriptures. You want to be free from ragas and dveshas, anxiety, fear. You want to be free from the sickness or illness of samsara. If you experience a second thing, there is no way out, because there is all a certain fear that this second thing may promote a change in me that is not what I want. There will be a certain desire, fear, aversion, anxiety, preoccupation, expectation, frustration. You're going to develop raga and dvesha the moment there is duality. Duality unavoidably produces raga and dvesha, which is going to result in samsara. Those long lists of emotional experience that further disturbs the mind. But for the undiscriminate dual person who accepts the existence of anatima as reality, asangatvam is gone. There is no way he's going to understand its nature of one without a second, therefore free of any possible relationship. Oh, but I like relationship. I mean, if I'm Brahma, if Brahma is a Sangha, it must be the most boring thing because, you know, I mean, I like relationships. And I say, oh, you do like relationship. And only you are big samsara. Now you're going to get a huge certificate that you are, you know, a very, very tangible samsari. Yeah? So if you don't claim your Sangha nature, and the person then claims a limited and select circle of people and objects as his own, mine, mine is, a sense of attachment, of belonging, you know, owning things develops. The individual jiva develops a sense of insecurity right away when he gets into association, attachment, and owning things or being owned by others. It's going to create a sense of insecurity. And then this sense of security is going to come, and then the jiva tries to overcome this sense of insecurity by developing this mutual sense of belonging. Okay, I belong to you and you belong to me. Insecurity. Shankaracharya defines samsara as aham, asam, mana, ete. I belong to them and these things belong to me. I belong to you, you belong to me. He does define samsara as that, which is a very interesting definition, beautiful, brilliant as well, because it ends up, you know, into that situation, you know, into attachment. When we develop raga and veshan and we want what we want, things, circumstances, situations, people, you know, and then attachment is unavoidable, you know, and then the feeling, the sensation that I belong to these things and these things belong to me. I belong to you, you belong to me. He presents that in the introduction of his commentaries of Bhagavad Gita. The one who's caught up in Sangha, problems, attachment, aversion, dependence, sorrow, delusion, cannot get out of self-ignorance. Moksha cannot be talked about. Moksha is something so far away, for those people who are caught up in associations, relationships, believing that there is a way to be happy, you know, by getting good association, good relationships. We say very clearly and loudly that yes, we need to move away from the association with people, place, things, and circumstances and events, and we must attach to God and God's scripture, reveal the scriptures. So you shift your attachment to the scripture because the scripture is going to free you from all attachment, include the attachment with the scripture itself. The only way out. But it's very difficult to find people who have the guts, the courage to let go of certain associations, because certain associations, you know, it's part of our dharma, swadharma. So I have to associate to my father, for example, and you guys may have some other associations, even though even those associations can be left behind. The most radical person to comment on this I have seen is is James. James used to say, no, I mean, you don't have even obligation with your children and your father, because if you walk away, Shwara is going to take care of them. And moreover, it's their karma that you walked away. But this is, you know, debatable, if we look from the standpoint of Dharma. But sometimes we attach with certain karma, some people, some situation. And my take is that if we cannot help, you know, it may be a good idea to move away. So, but if you can help, and if it's your father, your child, and this and that, you try to help in any possible way. So verse 98, all jivas are naturally pure, free from ignorance, self-effulgent, and liberated from the very beginning of no time. Cannot talk about beginning of time because, our true nature, which is free, pure, self-luminous, self-contained, free and independent, is something which it's our nature, which is not within the space-time project by Maya. No? So only the wise people are going to say that they know. Okay, he say people figuratively. Why he says figuratively? Say we're going to see next week. You see why he has put this figuratively. Say the wise people. The wise people say that they know. Yes, I know.
Could it be because people say all the time, I'm enlightened, but as James reminds us, they were never endarkened. So it's just a figurative expression.
Yeah.
Could it be that?
We'll see if Swamiji somehow explains a little bit, points to why he brought this figuratively in this verse. So as we know, the jiva's true nature is one without a second. It's the most pure thing. There are no inclusion. And it's free from ignorance means to say it's beyond knowledge and ignorance. And self-effulgent means to say is consciousness is self-contained, so in the Atma, and it shines on its own. It does not require any other source of conscious light. It's self-contained, and it's free. When it says that it's free from the superimpositions produced by Maya Shwara. So these superimpositions do not touch Jiva's true nature as pure, free, self-effulgent, and liberated, independent. And that is the truth, even beyond the scope of time. Actually, consciousnness or the Atma is not within the time, and the space of Maya. Time and space is it's part of the Namarupa, the projection. The wise people know that. The wise people say that they know, but the wise people usually do not say that they know unless they are really pushed in a corner and ask us, but do you really know that? The problem is when people have a certain understanding of one's true nature and wants to make it public to others. As I mean, now I got this status, I'm enlightened. So the wise person just stay quiet, like Papaji used to say, keep quiet. And if somebody comes and asks why you are quiet now, and then you say, oh, I don't like to talk about that. You wait until someone insists to know. In the previous verse, Gaudapada says that most of everyone in this world is caught up, hooked in transactions based on association, sangha, and they will never be able to remove ignorance in respect to your true nature, which is asanga. This may be taken to imply that there are two things, Atma and avaranam, concealment. This is a nice concept. The Atma is free, but there is something concealing or covering that freedom. Atma is never really covered by ignorance, because Atma is consciousness, which is the very source of knowledge. It shines as consciousness, aham, self-awareness. Whether I'm aware of the world or not, this consciousness is always reflecting and shining. And there he goes. So we have the last two verses. I was hoping we could finish it today and go for the Gita tomorrow, but we have three more verses to enjoy tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we begin from verse 98. Anything else from you? Okay, so just a short announcement. Let me just close our class now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Let me close here, and I want just to say that I almost closed everything here.